Tom Ford is just one of those brands that just do it for me, especially when it comes to their fragrances. So today I'm here to share with you guys my huge collection of Tom Ford fragrances. If you're interested in hearing all about them, then just keep watching. Before we get into the video, I do want to quickly introduce myself for those of you who may be new here. My name is Ayesha. I make videos about fragrance, beauty, luxury, and lifestyle. If those are things you're into, please consider subscribing. And if you are a returning subscriber, hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So I don't want to prolong this video too much because it's already going to be long, but I just need to give you a brief introduction. So basically, I will be sharing with you my entire Tom Ford collection. I have 21 fragrances in my collection, plus 2 additional that we'll talk about in a moment, but I will be doing this in order from my least favorite to my most favorite. Now, keep in mind, all of these fragrances I love. I would not get rid of any of them at this point, so even the least favorite is not a bad fragrance. Also, I did do a video like this last year that I will link for you guys. Some things have changed. I've added some, I've subtracted some. So if you're interested in that video and you just love Tom Ford, you want to see how my thoughts have changed, definitely check that one out. I will definitely link it for you. The last quick thing I want to say before we get into the fragrances is that this will not be a full review of any of these fragrances because obviously there's too many. So these are going to be quick snippets of each fragrance. I have reviews for a lot of them, so if you're interested, definitely check out the description box. If I have a review, I will link it for you guys. And also, if you want to see a review or you want more detail, ask me in the comments and we can talk about it. So now let's get into the fragrances. So I'm going to start with the 2 extras that I kind of told you about. And the reason they are extras is because they are actually my husband's collection. However, I purchased them for myself and decided to give them to him because they were not working for me. So I didn't feel like it was fair for me to rank them because I gave them to my husband. So first up is Tom Ford Ombre Leather. So this is a beautiful leather scent. It really reminds me of a luxury car when I smell it. It's quite smooth, like quite smooth. If you want to try a leather scent but you don't want anything too harsh, this would be one to try. It is definitely leather, but it's not animalic. I mean, leather, I guess you would say, is animalic, but this smells like a car as opposed to an animal. But it's really nice, and I do love the smell of it, but I felt like every time I wore it, it felt a bit too masculine on me, so I gave it to my husband. He wears it a lot, and his bottle feels almost empty, so I guess I'm gonna have to buy him a new one, but I love it on him, and I still think this fragrance is really nice for people who want a leather fragrance. I know a lot of women who wear this and love it, and they have similar taste to me, but for some reason, I just could not jive with it for myself, so this is Ombre Leather. The other fragrance I gave to my husband is Costa Azzurra Aqua. Now, this fragrance no longer comes in this bottle, or maybe it's no longer available at all, but it is really pretty. It's a aquatic, fresh, citrusy type scent. I think there's some notes of grapefruit in here and just other nondescript citrus smells to it, but I do really like it. But whenever I wore it, surprisingly, this felt masculine on me as well. Even though smelling out of the bottle, it does not feel masculine, but when I wore it, I just felt like I didn't love it on me. But I knew it was similar to Louis Vuitton Afternoon Swim, which I actually really like as well. My husband owns that, so I asked him if he wanted this one too. He did, and so now it's in his collection. So it's a really nice fragrance. And like I said, it is similar to Afternoon Swim from Louis Vuitton. However, the Louis Vuitton fragrance is a little bit sweeter, and to me it's a little bit smoother, whereas this one is a little bit more fresh. Either way, they're both beautiful, and I felt like I should mention these 2 fragrances even though they're not technically in my collection anymore. All right, so now we're on to my actual collection, and I do have one fragrance that I'm not including in the ranking, and it's because I just got it. I've only worn it one time, so I feel like I couldn't really rank it yet. So this one is Lavender Extreme. Look at this bottle, y'all. Look at that bottle. Gorgeous. So this is a beautiful lavender scent. It is quite aromatic when you first spray it. However, once it starts drying down, it becomes a lot more smooth. I think there's some vanilla in here that kind of rounds it out. Definitely makes it more feminine than at the start. Initially, when I sprayed this, I thought it would be too masculine for me. But when I wore it, amazing. I loved it. So yeah, this is one that actually surprised me because I didn't think that it was gonna be for me. I actually was trying this out for my husband. Like, I sprayed a bit on my hand at a store, walked around, and ended up buying it for myself. So anyway, this is Lavender Extreme. All right, now that we got those out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the nitty gritty. So I have 20 more fragrances to share with you guys, and I know that's overkill, but this is what we do. No apologies can be made because Tom Ford is my favorite fragrance brand, and that is shown by how many bottles I have. So we will be ranking these in order from my least favorite to my most favorite. So starting out at number 20 is Neroli Portofino. So this fragrance is beautiful. It is very fresh. I think it's definitely iconic. Yeah, it's definitely iconic. It has neroli. It has some aquatic notes to it. It's not really sweet, but there is a bit of a sweet citrus smell to it, but it's not a sweet fragrance by any means. Definitely perfect for spring, summer, man, woman, boy, girl, anybody. I love this fragrance. It's just not the one that I get most excited about. And I do have another fragrance that I'm gonna share with you from Tom Ford that is a little bit similar that I like more. So that's probably why this one is in my number 20 spot. So number 19 is Shanghai Lily. I'm pretty sure this one is completely discontinued, but I picked this up at a cosmetic company store probably a little over a year ago, I believe. So I do really like this fragrance. I actually wore it the other day because I wanted to refresh myself on it, and I realized I still do love it. So it is a lily fragrance that has this vintage smell to it, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like it's too old for me. It feels just right. I like it for days when I want to feel very sophisticated, but still smell quite different. The lily in this is pronounced, but it's done so well. Sometimes I think lily can go a bit wrong in fragrances. Sometimes I do feel like they smell dated, but I don't think that with this one. This is also a bit spicy. It's a little bit heavy, a bit musky. And it also feels like there's some other florals in here, like maybe jasmine. Yeah, it smells like there's some jasmine in there as well. I'm not sure if that's a note, but it definitely smells like it. And it's just really pretty and very sophisticated. I actually think this fragrance is perfect for work, church, those types of a little bit more formal occasions, but really pretty. I just hardly ever wear it. So that is Shanghai Lily. Number 18 is Jasmine Rouge. And to me, this is actually a little bit similar to Shanghai Lily as far as like the occasions that I would wear it to, but it's actually a little bit sexier in my opinion. Now, I feel like this is a good fragrance that you could wear to work, you can wear it to formal occasions, but there's something about the jasmine in this that gives it a little bit of sex appeal as well. So obviously jasmine is like the main note in this fragrance, but there is something that makes this very smooth, very inviting. I don't know what that is. There is some spice in this. There is some sweetness to this. And to me, the jasmine in this is not the kind that gives me headaches. A lot of jasmine fragrances I can't really get with because they're too sharp. This one is very smooth, although it does smell like natural jasmine flowers. If you've ever smelled actual jasmine flowers, it definitely smells like that, but in a perfumey way with some added sweetness and just sultriness to it. Love this one, but it's just not one that I reach for all the time, but I am happy to have it in my collection. So that is Jasmine Rouge. Number 17, we have Mandarino di Amalfi. Now, this is the fragrance that I was referring to when I was talking about Neroli Portofino, that they are similar, but I just prefer this one. I prefer this one because it is sweeter. The orange is definitely more prominent in this fragrance. And although it still kind of has that aquatic, citrusy smell to it, to me, this is, I don't know, just easier for me to wear. Kind of feels like a refreshing drink when I wear it during the summer. Now, I only wear this one during the summer, but I do really enjoy wearing it. So this is Mandarino di Amalfi. So number 16, we have a fragrance that actually really had to grow on me. This is none other than Bitter Peach. When I first purchased this fragrance, I was not in love. I purchased it when it first came out, really liked it, but I ended up returning it because I just didn't feel like it was giving me what I wanted it to give. And as time went on, I ended up repurchasing it probably in the summer of this year. And that's because every time I would go in store, I would smell it again, and I would always like spray it on my hand, and it just grew on me. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they changed the formula. I don't know if my nose changed, but I absolutely love this fragrance now. This is a fragrance that reminds me of peach gummy rings. Yes, smells like peach candy. It is syrupy, it is sweet, but it also has patchouli in there. And that's kind of a weird sounding combination, but it honestly really works on the skin. So I would advise that if you smell this in store and didn't like it, try it on your skin and see if you like it more, because this is one that on my skin, it really develops and melds well with my skin, and I end up really loving it. To me, it does not smell juvenile. The patchouli deepens it up, it gives it more substance, and I think that's kind of what keeps it from going too juvenile, because it is a quite sweet scent, and it is peach, and I think peach is a little bit hard to do in my opinion, but this one is really, really nice, and I'm glad I gave it a second chance. So that's Bitter Peach. Before we get into number 15, I do want to quickly add that I'm not really talking about longevity and projection unless it's something that stands out. So on certain fragrances, I may mention longevity and projection, but this video is about how they smell, what I think of them, and I feel like longevity and projection is so personal depending on like where you live, the temperature, your body chemistry, that I don't want to go into all of that for all of these fragrances. But if I have something that really stands out and I end up mentioning it, great. If you don't hear me mention it, then definitely try to check out some of my other reviews where I go more in depth. Number 15, we have Soleil Neige. And again, this is one that had to grow on me. Whenever I would smell this and store out of the bottle, never impressed. Wore it on my skin and fell in love. So this fragrance is a floral scent, but it's a different type of floral. Like in some ways, I feel like this fragrance leans very cool, very clean. The floral smell quite like white. When I say white, I mean like the color white. They smell quite wintry, but in the same realm, they also smell quite warm, and I really don't know how they manage that in this fragrance. It's quite beautiful, it's quite unique. Overall, I get a feeling of cleanliness from this fragrance and just smelling very like beautiful. Very, very beautiful. I think this is great for year-round use, honestly, because like I said, it leans cold, but then it also leans warm. I really don't know how they did that, but I love it, and I think it's quite unique. And I'm really impressed with how they made this fragrance. So this is Soleil Neige. Number 14, I have Santal Blush. So I feel like this fragrance has been getting a bit more popular, even though it's an older fragrance. I feel like over the past year or so, it's gotten a lot more popularity, and for good reason. It's absolutely beautiful. This is a sandalwood scent. It's quite creamy, but there is some spice in there as well. I believe oud is a note in this fragrance, but I honestly do not smell the oud. If I had to guess, I would think that oud is just like the backbone that grounds this and keeps it from becoming like too creamy. Like it gives it a little bit more something to hold on to. This is really, really perfect for cool to cold weather, but I honestly feel like this is one I can wear year round. It has this musky type of component to it that just makes me feel enveloped, makes me feel just very sensual. I love it. So this is Santal Blush. For number 13, I have Champaca Absolute. So this fragrance is one of my classy faves. It is gorgeous. It has champaca, which is a flower. I've never smelled that flower. I only really know it from this fragrance. But in addition to that floral note, you have a little bit of booziness to it as well. I believe rum or maybe cognac is the boozy note in this fragrance. However, to me, all combined together, it smells like champagne and flowers. So whenever I think about this fragrance, I think about being in a luxury garden drinking expensive champagne. I think this is perfect for weddings, for any type of like pretty type occasion. And it's one of those fragrances that I feel is very likable, but it's still very different as well. I don't have another fragrance that smells like this, even though it's a very likable scent. So this is Champaca Absolute. Number 12 is Fucking Fabulous. So this fragrance became rather popular rather quickly, and I know it's because of the name. But aside from the name, whether you like it, hate it, this fragrance is actually really nice. It's one that I slept on because whenever I would smell it in store, I just did not like it. This is one that I had to spray on my skin and ended up falling in love. So to me, this one is a bit leathery. It's a bit green, it's a bit powdery. The powderiness in this gives it a little bit of sweetness, but this is not a sweet fragrance at all. This is one I kind of have to be in the mood to wear, but whenever I do wear it, I love it. And I always get a compliment on this. So this is one of those fragrances that I will mention longevity because it lasts literally all day. I wore this not too long ago when I had to go to work, and then I had something after work, so I didn't go home, didn't touch up, and when I got home after my like dinner that I went to, I could still smell it. Now I worked 10-hour shifts, so I was probably out for a total of like 13-14 hours that day, and I still smelled it when I got back home. So I just wanted to mention it because I felt like that was worth mentioning. But overall, this is a scent I really like. Aside from the name, bottle is gorgeous too. I mean, that doesn't hurt. But the fragrance itself is quite unique, but also quite beautiful. And I definitely think both men and women can pull this off. Number 11, I have Rose Prick. And again, with this bottle, absolutely gorgeous. But this is a Tom Ford Rose. Not gonna be rose for everybody. And if you are a rose lover, I don't know if this would be your favorite rose fragrance, but I happen to really love it. I'm not a rose fragrance person, but this one is a peppery, spicy rose. It also has turmeric in there, and I believe patchouli as well. But there's just something about this fragrance that gives it a bit of a twist. It has that Tom Ford edge to it. So even though it is a rose fragrance, and I think there's 3 different types of rose in here, the way it's blended makes it like just very likable for me. To me, in a way, it kind of smells like it could be a oud rose combination, even though oud is not a note in this fragrance. But it kind of gives me those same type of vibes, but add in some pepperiness and I don't know, like even maybe just a touch of greenness as well. It's really, really gorgeous and definitely a crowd pleaser when I wear it. So that is Rose Prick. So in the number 10 spot, I have Noir Parfum. I believe this fragrance is being discontinued because it's no longer on Tom Ford's website. However, I did find it because I actually featured this in, I think, my last video. So I did find it. So definitely check out my link if you're interested, because since it's not on the Tom Ford website anymore, I think it's going to be gone pretty soon. But anyway, this fragrance is gorgeous. It's a spicy, sweet, sultry scent. This one is quite dark, quite deep, but at the same time, it's sweet. It has some gourmand touches to it. I believe this is based around kulfi, which is an Indian dessert. I thought it was similar to cheesecake, but I was actually told that it's more similar to ice cream, but with spices. So I could definitely picture that. To me, this smells like there's some tobacco in this, and it smells a bit smoky, but I'm not even sure if tobacco is a note in this, but that's what I get from it. It smells deep, dark, sexy, vanilla, sweet, tobacco, goodness. Yeah, it's just really, really pretty. I think this is one you should definitely try if you have a chance to. So that is Noir Parfum. Number 9, I have Soleil Brûlant. Look at this bottle, y'all. Look at it. So this fragrance was released this year and everybody was super excited about the bottle, but then when it came out, it got super mixed reviews. I am in the minority that I happen to really love this fragrance. So to me, this fragrance smells like honey. It smells like there's a little bit of tobacco in there, even though I'm pretty sure tobacco is not a note, but the honey in this is just very different. So it smells like honey, but not like the honey in my cabinet, if that makes sense. Like the honey is just quite different, and I think that's why I love it so much. It also has like a hay type smell to this fragrance, which sounds weird, but I promise when everything is combined, it comes out really, really nice. This is one that I feel like there is a lot going on, and that's some of the criticism that it gets, that it's just so many things just thrown in together and put out. But honestly, the way it's blended, I love it. I love that there's so many things going on, because when I smell this, I don't know what to go to. Like, it's just so much in this that I love. It's gorgeous. So I definitely think this is one you should try on your skin. Even if you've heard bad reviews about it, try it on your skin because you may fall in love with it. If you like Armani Blue Lazuli, then try this one too, because I think they are somewhat similar. They're not the same, but I feel like if you like one, you'll like the other. So yeah, this is Soleil Brûlant. Number 8, I have Metalique. So this fragrance is really, really good. It's a vanilla. but it is a vanilla with a metallic type touch. And don't let that scare you. I know when people hear something smells like metallic, they think about blood and bodily fluids and all that. I don't get that. Get that out of your head. The metallic touch to this makes it feel a bit cold, but at the same time, it's a vanilla, a very well done vanilla. And I think it's quite interesting, but it's also quite easy to wear. To me, this is a year-rounder. It's not too heavy. You can wear it in the winter. It is not a super projecting fragrance. So if you are gonna wear this in the winter and you're wearing a bunch of layers, definitely this is one you're gonna spray on your scarf or your sweater or whatever. But you know, I live in a warmer climate, so I can definitely wear this around year-round quite easily. And it's quite beautiful. And I know it may sound basic, vanilla with a metallic touch, but it's honestly so well done. It smells so different than any other fragrance that I have. So yeah, this is Metallique, gorgeous for day to day, and just a perfect all-arounder scent. So number 7, I have Soleil Blanc. So this is my vacation Tom Ford scent. It is beautiful. When I smell this, I just think about vacations that I've been on, because I've taken this on like so many tropical vacations that it always just gives me good memories every time I smell it. But it smells like coconut and tropical flowers. Can kind of go that sunscreen type vibe, but in a very, very high class way. So to me, I don't equate this to all the other sunscreen scents that have been coming out over the past few years. To me, this one is definitely more elevated, more elegant, beach resort type fragrance. Really, really gorgeous. I find that a lot of sunscreen scents can almost borderline smell like bug spray. I don't know why, but they borderline do. This one does not go that route at all. This one's just very classy. I love it. But it's still like fun vacation. So yeah, this is Soleil Blanc. Number 6, I have a newer bottle to my collection, but I did own a travel spray of this, so that's where I'm still including it in this ranking, because I haven't worn this one enough that I wanted to rank it. So this is Vanille Fatale. Like I said, I just got this bottle, but it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a beautiful vanilla. It has some spices to it. It has something that smells like incense in it as well. So it's quite deep and dark, but not so much so that I would relegate this to nighttime only. Now, I do think this is great for nighttime, but I think I could wear this during the day as well. This one is quite sexy, and even though it's spicy, dark, deep vanilla, it's sweet. So I think that this will appeal to a lot of different people. It's quite likable, but it's not your average vanilla. I love it. So this is Vanille Fatale. Number 5 is another discontinued gem. This is Orchid Soleil. I love this fragrance. This fragrance also reminds me of summer, but I definitely think it can be worn year round, but I think I picked it up initially during the summer. And this is a sweet floral. I believe tuberose is the main note in this, but it also smells like it's mixed with some tropical florals as well. And it also kind of has this waxy vintage type smell to it, almost like a lipsticky type smell. But I wouldn't consider it a lipstick smelling fragrance. Hopefully that makes sense. This is quite different and I love it. I wish this was not discontinued because I'm no longer able to find this anywhere. I kind of don't wear this very often because I don't want to get rid of it. I think I'm like, yeah, I'm about halfway done with this bottle and I'm honestly scared to wear it because I know once I'm done with it, it'll be no more. But it's absolutely gorgeous. So if you have this in your collection, use it, spray it. Fall in love with it again. It's absolutely gorgeous. That is Orchid Soleil. Number 4 is a crowd pleaser, and this is Tobacco Vanille. I feel like everybody loves this fragrance, and the people that don't love it for themselves, they love it for other people. So this is a smoky but very sweet tobacco and vanilla scent. So I know sometimes tobacco can be a bit scary for some people. This one is one that I feel like a lot of people will be able to pull off because although it is deep and dark like tobacco typically is, it's quite smooth and quite sweet without being syrupy, sickly sweet. The vanilla in this is spicy, slightly boozy, and just overall an amazing scent. Like Tobacco Vanille is popular for a reason. I love this one. Also need to mention the body spray because I do have that as well. If you can't afford this version, try to check out the body spray because they do smell quite similar. Obviously this one smells a little bit better because different ingredients, but they do smell quite similar once you spray the body spray on. So if this one is completely out of your price range, maybe you are able to get the body spray because you need tobacco vanille at some point in your life, okay? I'm just gonna put it out there. Anyway, obviously I love this one, tobacco vanille. All right, so we're almost done. We're at the number 3 spot, and honestly, my top 3 could honestly be switched around just based on how I'm feeling for the day. I'm just gonna be completely honest with y'all. So today, number 3 is Lost Cherry. Y'all know I love Lost Cherry. I talk about this fragrance so much. Wasted a spray. This is a beautiful, boozy, cherry, almond scent that is quite deep, quite dark, quite sexy. Many have imitated, none have gotten it right, in my opinion anyway. But this is just absolutely gorgeous. There's something about the way they did this cherry that I just cannot get enough of. I've smelled a lot of cherry fragrances. I love cherry as a note, but I keep coming back to this one. This is the one that beats out all my cherry scents, hands down. This is boozy and deep and just very sexy cherry almond scent. So yeah, Lost Cherry, number 3. Number 2 is the original Black Orchid Eau de Parfum. This was my very first Tom Ford fragrance. It changed the game for me. It is quite interesting, very hard to explain, and very polarizing, but I'm one of the people that happen to really love this fragrance. I love it for going out. It's dark, it's deep, it's sweet, it's spicy. When you look up the notes for this fragrance, there's probably about 15-20 notes listed, but to me the notes that stand out that I can pick out are like plum, the truffle, a little bit of chocolate to this, but also the patchouli. Those are probably the 4 notes that I can pick out the most from this fragrance. But this is just one you have to smell. If you haven't smelled it already and you're watching fragrance videos, go smell it. Go smell it. This is one you need to smell. You need to try on your skin. You may not like it, but I feel like if you are a fragrance lover, you have to at least go smell it. You don't have to like it, but go smell it. It's very hard to explain, but it's one that is iconic for a reason, and to me it embodies the Tom Ford brand. Like, I think this was the first fragrance they released. I'm pretty sure it was. I'm 100% sure it was. And I think this just really set the tone. And although a lot of people don't love it, I happen to. And whenever I wear it, I get a ton of compliments on it, even to this day. And I've worn this fragrance for literal years, probably definitely over a decade. So that is Black Orchid. And then the number 1 spot is Black Orchid Parfum. So this is the newer version of this fragrance. They are quite similar. You probably don't need both, but me being the Tom Ford fanatic that I am, I have both. To me, the differences is that this one, the rum feels a bit more apparent, and also the plum smells a bit more apparent. So this one is a little bit sweeter. It's also slightly easier to wear, in my opinion. I think these are both, I love both of them, obviously, but just trying to think about it for like the masses, I think this one will be slightly more appealing to women because it is a bit sweeter. But I mean, really these should be in the same spot, but I wanted to be fair and actually rank them. They are quite similar. You don't need both. But as of right now, this is the one that I have been reaching for more. So I put it at number 1, but honestly, either one of those could have been number 1. This is absolutely gorgeous. Boozy and sweet and deep, dark and sexy. Date night approved, all day, every day. Anyway, that was my huge Tom Ford collection. If you all have any of these fragrances, let us know down below what is your favorite, or maybe give us your top 3 Tom Ford fragrances. I think that'll be fun. Yeah, everybody give us your top 3 Tom Ford fragrances. If you don't own any Tom Ford fragrances, that's fine. If you're interested in trying any, let us know which one sounds the most appealing to you. If you found this video helpful or enjoyable, please give it a big thumbs up. Also subscribe for more videos like this, and make sure you're following me over on Instagram. I always like to communicate with you guys over there because it's quite easy to do. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.